Evan.
What?
I'm choking to go to some sort of event.
Aye?
But it needs to be a slammer, know what I mean? It needs to be a fucking...
A slammer?
A kind of slam, aye.
Like, that sounds pretty dangerous, but...
Aye, but like, just something that will just, you know, I can take one of my troops.
Is it something like maybe... If you had to go to an event, would it be like maybe in a tent or something like that?
Aye,
definitely. It would definitely, like a big, massive tent.
Like a huge tent. We could all just have a slam, do you know what I mean?
Well, you're in luck. Well, no you, but one of yous could be. Look, troops, you remember, the OGs will remember for last year, we done the giveaway and we gave away a lot of stuff. It was a shitload of stuff, mate. It was about worth 800 quid or something. And we're giving away something else. Tom Ketley of Fly, very close friend, yeah, very personal friend. Family friend as well.
Is he? Aye?
No. But he's a great guy, and what he's done is he's going to give away 2 free tickets to the Slam tent. The Slam tent. It's making its return, guys. The Slam tent is coming, mate. It's coming back after all these years. Well, you've been in the Slam tent, the OG one?
Aye, obviously.
Oh, so bad, baby.
Of course.
But I know a lot of our younger viewers, God, they wouldn't have been alive, maybe. No, I can't know, they would have been alive. But we're giving away 2 free tickets, guys. So, oh my goodness. All you need to do, it's very easy, this one, right? Subscribe to us. Follow us on Instagram. That's it. That's
Simple
it.
as that.
And you've got an entry. So, if you want to win these tickets, free tickets, 2 of them, so you don't need to go yourself. Take somebody with you. A lover, a mother,
a friend,
a sister, an enemy. and if you want to take your enemy, fair dues. But to be in with a chance to win these tickets, ladies and gentlemen, get down to the description. The wee link will be there. You know the drill for the last time. Click the link, follow it. Very simple steps. Subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. That's it. That's all we're asking for 2 free tickets.
Easy done, bro, innit?
It's very, very easy done. So all the details of the Slam Tent event will be in the description as well, so you know where you're going. Know what I mean? You need to know where you're going sometimes. You don't want to win the tickets and then on the day go, where is it?
I think you're going to get whisked away in some sort of magic carpet.
It doesn't work like that. You need to get to it. But free tickets, man, come on. So 2 free tickets to the Slam Tent could be yours. Go down to the description and find out if you're the winner.
Oh, it's a nice day, innit?
It's a nice day to drive in a car and a car driving.
I hope nothing bad happens.
Oh my God! That now, ladies and gentlemen, that just fell on Jimmy Kelly's dick there is a claim. Now, the person to handle claims about your genitals or maybe cars and injuries.
Mainly genitals, but not.
They're gonna sort you out, guys. Look, has somebody hit your brief? Did it make you queef? Or did it give you whiplash? Get in touch with G4 Claims, Holy Moly, Good God, and Garthamlock. Look, if you get hit, somebody drives away, the old hit and run, the old 1-2.
It's terrible, isn't it?
It is a fucking shocking thing, and we really hate that here on this podcast. So, if that does happen to you, if you're very unlucky in life and that happened to you, get in touch with G4 Claims, guys. Their stuff is in the description, as always.
Also,
yes,
if they don't run away and you're with one of the other fucking insurance cunts,
aye,
see if they don't sort you out properly,
aye,
you can claim against them.
Claim against the claimer?
Claim against your own insurance.
That's a lot of claiming.
And it's free in that, innit?
Aye.
And if they don't one up your insurance, then no love lost, brother.
Aye, so we know what these insurance companies are up to. Fucking scumbags, yeah? So, if you do get hit, as Jamie's saying, and they're like, no, do I pay you? You were fucking... You had a fucking joint in your motor or something like that.
You're ginger or something.
Aye, and that's happened to a guy I know.
All the time.
And even though you're no ginger,
I'm
that's
starting
crazy.
to get ginger bits in my beard.
Mate, I get that as well.
Do you really?
They do know that's because you get Irish in you.
Is it?
Aye.
Is it actually?
No. But if you want to claim it and okay. Also, if you want to start a podcast, if you want to step in the hot seat, yeah? You want to go toe to toe with us? Come on there. Don't be silly. But if you want a slightly smaller podcast, Get in touch with Greg. The Instagram is in the description. Get in touch with him. Book a wee visit up to the studio. Come and see the surroundings.
Lovely place, yeah.
It's gorgeous. And also, they just go... This is the thing with G4. This is the thing with this studio that I love, right? We come up here, yes, state that facility. No doubt about that. But they're no happy with just going, you know... It's a fucking great studio.
You go other places. Oh, I've got your room there, a microphone.
There's a toilet there. It's like brilliant, mate. What about mics and cameras and lighting and that? It's all here for you. You don't need to bring anything. Just bring yourself with some love and some dignity and some respect, young man or lady or something else. But hey, look, the thing is, we got an acoustic carpet put in here, which, you know, I had never even heard of. So G4 are actually inventing things.
Mm-hmm. The carpet plays guitar.
The carpet, it's one of the guitars, and it sings sort of, what's that guy, Matt Cardo, the one X Factor, sings Matt Cardo. What song was that? Is that his
Many
song?
of Horror, was that? No, that's Biffy Clyro, but he sang that. He did sing it.
Oh, he did, and he done well. When we collide, we come together. Like that.
Oh, you got one.
If you want to collide together with the G4 Claim studio, get yourself up here, get in the description, get in touch with Greg, come and visit the big boys. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in. Oh my goodness gracious me. The sheriff's in town. Welcome, Cillian.
Sheriff's in Wishaw town.
Wishaw, yep. Many sheriffs have passed through the land of Wishaw.
I just raced through.
I don't know who the current sheriff is in Wishaw, but I'm sure we can find him.
Usurp his post.
So,
do people here say wishy? Is that a thing?
That's
the thing.
We don't live here though, so like we're not natives.
Okay.
So, but they do say if you meet somebody for here, they'll be like, oh, wishy, aye.
Wishy, yeah.
Because when they talk about the hospital, they say wishy general.
Aye, but it's like Bishop Briggs. I guess called Bishy and all, doesn't it?
Well, is it the same thing? Wishy. Bishop Briggs has got a longer name. I feel like wishy is just like changing the name, the sound at the end of it.
Aye.
But look, excited to have you on, mate. Obviously, what a career. What a career. Do you know, my mum, my wee mother, Karen, shout out to Karen out there. She doesn't watch the podcast. She says I swear far too much. Okay. She doesn't like how I say things, what I talk about. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe she doesn't love me. But she said, who's on your pod? She always asks, who's on the podcast this week? I said, it's Cillian Sheridan. And she said, oh my God, how did you get the guy for Peaky Blinders on? I was like, it's not him. Do you get that a lot? Mistaken identity for Cillian?
It happened last year on one of the radio stations where they phone up someone and then they were asking questions. Can't remember one Scottish radio station.
Clyde or something?
I've no idea. No idea.
Radio.
Anyway, they've said the guy had to get, I think, 10 questions right.
Right. That sounds like a Clyde thing.
And he got 8 right. One of them he got wrong was like a pretty hard question, and the other one he got wrong was name the star of Peaky Blinders or name the Irish star in Peaky Blinders, and the guy like answered quickly, Cillian Sheridan. And then when they got to the end, the guy was like, I'm so happy to tell you that you got 2 answers wrong, because if the answer that you lost the money on was Cillian Sheridan instead of Cillian Murphy.
You would have talked.
I think you would have done a better job with the role, to be fair.
You could have been in Peaky Blinders. Do you think you could have been in Peaky Blinders?
Don't know how my Brummie accent is. I know. An Irish Peaky Blinders, I'll try.
So we were, what Jamie was going to ask, I mean, first footballer on a podcast.
Oh, aye.
I'll be honest, not many footballers are as maybe fun or outgoing as yourself, mate. I know a few that have patched me to come on, and I know them. And we don't even know each other, mate, and you've come on, so thank you.
About you. But
naturally, obviously, a footballer, the question we wanted to ask first is, what do you think there's more of in the world, wheels or doors?
Doors.
Think so?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, when you think of wheels, what do you think of?
Cars. Right, but bike wheels?
Yeah.
Cart wheels? Not like the activity, but like trolleys
easy.
And that.
I'm saying easy doors. Think of all the amount of houses.
Right, well,
homes.
this is my thing, Cillian, right? So it's what we're calling a wheel here. Like, is that like a cog, a wheel? A gear? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, see in a car, see your
What are we calling a door?
That's
what are we calling
true.
a door?
Compartments and drawers and stuff. So I think we need to get that right first.
Dreams, doors open into other...
I know. Are we talking metaphorical doors?
Yeah. Aye.
Straight up physical doors. There's so I was sitting in lunch in my work and I was like, they're talking about something football, something. I was like, nah, shut up now. I need to ask you a question. And honestly, question. I'll be working and like a guy Ross came down to me the day. He was like, right, this is something, Evan, right? Anything that rolls is a wheel. And I'm like, I think we should just calm down. We are stressing out.
Me and my pals were talking about it in a group chat last night, and it was literally like my wee pal Kieran, it was stressing him out so much that he sent me a voice note. Can I play the voice note?
Play the voice note. This is because at first I was the same as you. Did you say doors?
I said doors, yeah.
Because obviously there must be communities in the world that don't even fucking have cars and shit. So, but they'll have doors in their house.
Aye. But I'm wheels. I'm 100% wheels. I think it's foolish to say doors. No, I don't. I was a doors man. I was a doors man until I thought about like engines and that, and like just factories.
It goes too deep for me.
Right, but this is the thing. My wee pal, right, sent me like pure stressing out his nut at about 12 o'clock last night. Like, he must have just went away and he was thinking about it for ages. He was taking pictures of his kitchen and going, look, all these doors. But
mate, actual thing about one of the big offices in New York, right? They've got about fucking 1 million chairs, and their chairs have got 5 wheels on them. But then again, how many fucking doors have they got and all? Because you've got the main doors, all the doors, lift doors, toilet doors, cupboard doors. Fucking hunters, man. Hunters. I'm fucked.
I'm fucked.
So that was tormenting his brain last night.
Question of the century, I'm saying. Question of the century. But the sheriff... Obviously, I wanted to know, where did you give yourself that nickname?
No, and yeah.
Right.
One of my friends back home, Luke, one day said, all right, Sheriff. From Sheridan. Hopefully that's obvious, yeah. And I heard, I was like, fucking, that's brilliant.
That's a cool nickname.
And then I just took it on.
Aye,
just went with it. And now, like, loads of places I've been, lads will just call me, until they see my Instagram, then they'll start calling me Sheriff. All right, Sheriff.
It could be a lot worse. I've been called a lot worse than that, mate. The Sheriff. That's fantastic.
Nickname.
One of the best nicknames.
So one day this year in Dundee, was leaving the dressing room, and there was one of the lads was waiting there, and I was leaving, so I was like, all right, see you later, see you tomorrow. And he goes, all right, yeah, see you, kid. See you, Sheriff.
Have you got that in your contract? Like, must call me the Sheriff?
Yeah.
That's the first term.
You just wave and somebody takes them away.
Never mind the wage. I don't want to know the wages, mate. The Sheriff. On the back of the shirt, that's the next move, mate.
No, I can't go that far. Can't have
Could you do
nicknames on shirts? Nah,
that's
not a fan of it.
Because, like... See, but I don't know how it works. See if you are like, I want that. The back. Could you get that done?
I think you can. Yeah.
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 Aye, because like, is Neymar's name no like? It doesn't even say.
That's a Brazilian thing.
Hulk.
Aye.
Hulk.
Aye. He's no called that.
Is that not his name?
Nah, that's no part of his name. It's just his nickname, the Hulk.
Aye. But I think
I'm sure.
Aye.
Fucking mate, he's solid and all, innit? Help.
I know. I'm not gonna like until we said that. There, I kind of thought it was like one of his names, but then I'm thinking Hulk. That's the least Brazilian thing I've ever heard in my life. Hulk.
Hulk Junior, maybe.
So what if you were like? What if you just had that mad obscene nickname? What if you were called? Like,
I think people do that.
Shagger.
Shagger.
Alan McGregor.
Aye. Imagine he got Shagger in the back. No, but obviously like, Kyogo plays for Celtic, right? He came over here. And his, like, I don't know how it works in Japan, but like his surname's Furuhashi, but it's almost as if we went, fuck, try to say, we'll just call him Kyogo. But he's got Kyogo in the back of his top.
Aye. I think that's mad. Like, see some like pundits and shit, like trying to say foreign names that aren't even that. Like,
it's a generational thing,
like,
I think.
Ukter Mukti, that's a harder thing to say than Furuhashi, do you know what I mean?
Not if you're a true Scotsman. True Scotsman comes out the womb saying that.
Aye, but that other boy that came from Japan, that Ideguchi, he's got Gucci in the back of his tat, which I think is cool.
Does he actually have it in the back of his top?
Aye, Gucci.
Just Gucci?
Aye, and his name's something Ida Gucci.
No, in his press.
To me.
Aye, there's the guy who plays for Yusuke Ida in it.
Aye.
In his press conference, he's like, "Hi guys, happy to be here. Call me Gucci."
Really?
It's a hard thing to say, innit?
Which for your first interview, coming from Japan, that
Ballsy. That's a power move. Straight off the bat.
Imagine you were at Dundee. Trips. Call me Armani, right?
At your press conference, you say they just say the sheriff's in town.
Great.
Nah, that's cringy. But onto like maybe football. I don't know. We should maybe talk about that a wee
We'll
bit.
talk about it at one point.
Aye, we'll get around to it. But so I was wondering, obviously, when you were in Ireland, did you grow up like always wanting to play football, like be a professional footballer?
I grew up playing Gaelic football.
Right. Okay.
That's my sport.
Right.
So I never really I've watched football. But I don't think I ever really was like watching it with the dream to think, oh, that'll be me playing there one day.
How does see Gaelic football? I just picture that as people running and can you explain how's it different?
Do you any idea what it is? Like, have
I
you
feel-
saw it or
It feels a
anything?
wee bit.
I feel like
Yeah.
people run about with the ball and punt it. That's all I can see.
Yeah. It's a pretty good description.
That's just
You're running around and kicking a ball, but you can handle it 15 aside,
right.
and you can score 1 point or you can score a goal for 3 points.
Right.
So it's very similar to Aussie rules without the second set of posts,
Right.
and obviously there's a goalkeeper.
Oh, that sounds solid. Were you good at it? Could you have pursued that? Is that
Well, see, it's
professional game over
amateur.
there? Is it amateur?
It's an amateur sport.
Oh, so you can't even go pro in it.
Nah, but I had the offer to go and play Aussie rules through
did you?
through Gaelic. So a lot of, because it's so similar, they'll take a lot of young players to Australia.
Nice one.
But then it came at the same time as I was getting trials over at teams in England and at Celtic. So I was like, look, if soccer doesn't work out, I'll come back and I'll look at this again.
So growing up in Ireland, is that, see, for you to be playing Gaelic sort of over what we would call football, soccer, whatever, is that common in Ireland that people will just play sort of Gaelic over normal sort of football?
A lot of the time, yeah. It also can depend where you are. So where I'm from, it's a predominantly Gaelic football county.
Right.
Where I called it soccer. That's growing up, it was football is Gaelic football and then
Right.
soccer
really?
is football, yeah.
So you grew up calling it soccer? What we know is? Nah.
As far as I'm aware, yeah. You'd have to differentiate what sport you're going to play.
Aye.
Right, I see. And then, so were you playing both at the same time?
Yeah. Until I was about 15 maybe, 15 or 16, and then I just had to decide right, I'm going to go pick one seriously, because there was times where I'd play a game on a Saturday morning up in Dublin playing soccer, and then come home Saturday evening and play a Gaelic match.
Right.
And then there was times I was at 15 or 16, my legs would be cramping up, which isn't normal. So I was like, right, it'll end up fucking both of them. So I'll just focus on one, and that was that.
Good decision, mate.
Well,
I think you made
turned
the
out,
right decision. Aye. But so obviously when you were in Ireland playing football, who were you playing for when Celtic came and sort of picked you up?
So there's a boys club called Belvedere, and they played in the Dublin League, the DDSL, Dublin League anyway. And I don't think it's still the same setup, but anyway, that was the league where all scouts and everything would come over and watch the players. So a lot of the teams had fellas from all over the country. So I had to travel. It was about an hour and a half, 2 hours to Dublin, where there was some guys were traveling maybe 4 hours.
Really?
To come up and so we'd trained on a Saturday morning and then played games on a Sunday morning. So that was my full weekend, just going up and down.
So there was Celtic scouts over there, trying to scout players. Is that how you got noticed?
I think the Celtic thing came from. So at the age of 16, that's when a lot of guys move over. So who've signed contracts and they'll move over to academies. But I hadn't signed with anyone, or I don't think I'd even been on a trial at that stage. But I was called up to an Irish under-17 squad. The manager of that knew me from younger. He was the one who got me up to the team in Dublin in the first place. And he always had me in the Ireland squads, so I was in Irish squads without being at a professional team. So a lot of
got you in the mix.
people would be watching those games and they might see, oh, who's this player? He's not with a club.
Right.
And then they're probably like, I will just take a punt on him, give him a trial.
So did you come over here for the trial?
Yeah. I think I was only here for about 4 or 5 days or something. Played one friendly.
Was it in Barrafield?
Yeah, down Barrafield on the Astro. I'm sure I ripped my boot ripped and I had to like tape it. Tape around the thing.
That's probably what got you in, mate. Or like he's old
This guy's
school.
old school. Yeah, he's fucking no nonsense.
Playing with a ripped boot.
I feel like when you
Just
hear
took the boots off.
I feel like when you hear about like the boys that come off Ireland, like it's always pure like had to travel this much, and it's like seems pure determined. You know what I mean? Instead, and like as opposed to like here, it's just boys from Glasgow that are just like
Getting picked up and sent to St Ninians and
but it's like a pure kind of culture of boys that are pure like
really
want
want
it a
it.
lot.
Aye. But see when you were coming over for the trial and that, like what was your sort of like mindset at the time? Were you thinking like, because obviously I know boys that I went to school with who went on to play professional and that, and they always were like in the mindset like I'm good enough to do this and I know what I'm doing sort of thing. Were you like that? Were you like, I'm going to go over here and definitely get picked up, or were you kind of?
I didn't really have that, because see, a lot of guys over here have all been in academy from maybe like, I don't know, 11 or 12. So they've always had the thing where the goal is to be in the first team.
Right.
Whereas I never had that until like 17 really. That was when I was like, oh, there's a chance I can make it professionally. And then probably once I got over, and because I didn't have all that academy build up and pressure of like having that as the end thing, I was never really
Phased by things.
so everything was pretty new to me, and then I just kind of hit the ground running. So it might have, if I'd started off and didn't go too well, it might have been a different story. Then I might have like been thinking, right, I'm not near good enough to be here.
Because I feel like that what you're saying, like the boys that are coming through the academy that have been at Celtic since they were fucking like 7, and like it's all they know, and they're like, there's an actual path for them. They're like, right, all I need to do is keep doing the right things and I'll make it pro. Whereas you have been playing for, I'm guessing that Belvedere are like a good side in Ireland, like that's a good standard over there. Yeah. So, and then you've come over here and you've not got that academy upbringing. So do you think it was a bit of like the lack of nerves in that was also like a bit of naivety, like no really knowing sort of like the pressures, or?
Yeah, no, I think I've said that before, it's definitely helped that I didn't have, because I was so new to everything, and like I was pretty naive to a lot of the, like, even just the dressing room, like that kind of full-time dressing room. And like there would have been loads of times where they'd be saying stuff to me as a joke, like kind of taking the piss out of me, and I'd have no idea. So it'd be like,
it probably just got you through. Just
it probably kind of killed them. They were like, he keeps killing us.
I didn't sell it at all.
I had no, just because I'd fucking no idea what they were trying to do.
Sound, mate. Thanks. See you tomorrow. But so obviously then you go for the trial, and like when did they tell you, like after the game, like we want to take you on, or was that a few days late? Can you remember?
I don't know if I scored 2 or 3 goals in the trial. I know I'd done good. I just ran. I ran like crazy, just everywhere, taking runs off the other striker, doing everything. And well, I ran enough to rip the boot.
You must have been running a lot.
Literally ran the boot into the ground, and I knew I'd done pretty good. Whereas some of the other places I'd been previous, I kind of knew at the end of the week, like, it was okay, nothing, like wasn't expecting anything.
So that wasn't your first trial for a professional team, no?
That was that was the last club I went to.
Oh, really?
To,
Really?
yeah.
Who took you on trial before?
The first one I went to was Norwich. Then I went to Blackburn, Sunderland, and then Celtic. And Celtic were the only teams.
I know.
Celtic were the only teams that even offer me a contract.
Oh. That bit. That ripped bit, man.
That boot, yeah.
You still got that bit? that could be worth a lot of money.
It's an artifact now.
Aye. That could be on the Dundee FC website. I suppose it's a Celtic bit, isn't it?
That's in a Barrafield bin, I think.
A lot of dodgy stuff in the bins.
No, but after, I'm pretty sure after that trial, maybe like the next day or whatever, Tommy Burns saying that we wanted like they wanted to sign me or they wanted to offer me a contract. I'm sure that's how it happened. I don't think I came over again. I don't know. My memory of then is terrible.
Is it
The
bad?
I
amount,
suppose you're like 17, so I
but
don't.
the amount of stuff I've forgotten about, even like first team stuff at Dundee, Paul McGowan, Gowser will like say to me about, he goes to me, oh, fucking remember that time and we were away in the hotel and something happened, and I'm like,
No, mate.
nah. And he's like, what? You kidding me? Like he was saying something, maybe he threw something, and I think like I've ducked or moved out of the way. I think it's hit Neil Lennon or it's hit someone, and he was like, you don't remember that? I was like,
pure vivid thing you should definitely remember.
Repressed memories.
no idea.
I was going to ask you, because I was saying to Em before this, like one of the reasons, like, I'm a Celtic fan, and one of the reasons I'm a big Celtic fan is because of Tommy Burns. Like when I was younger, like my dad telling me stories about him, and like even my granddad, and like watching old videos of his teams playing and watching videos of him playing and his interviews and that just made me pure fall in love with Celtic. I was going to ask if you had any memories of anything specific he said or did that helped you, but maybe if your memories.
I remember
I remember him saying like a few little one-liners and stuff. Obviously, I can't remember when it was, but I vividly can remember like him saying that about, we want to offer you a contract, and then he brought me, my parents over, went to a game and that, and I think that was it during. So I'd agreed to come over and sign, and in between that time, I think I sprained my ankle back in Ireland, and came over to sign. I think it was the day Celtic maybe had won the league, or they'd not got the trophy. No, I think it was the day they like mathematically won the league. It was Strachan's first year where he won it. Ages before, and I was on crutches. I remember Tommy Burns like introducing me to Strachan, and he's like, all right, Gaffer, this is our new signing. And Strachan just like kind of looked at me and was like, what are you doing? Tommy's like, on crutches, I know,
Strachan's got some good lines and all, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I remember Tommy's is one of them in the gym all the time. He'd come back and he'd be talking about boxing or something, and he'd come over, do like a little shadow boxing with like, me and you, we're fighting, there's going to be two hits. Me hit you once, and then the second one you hit the floor. that was all the time.
That's brilliant.
And then one thing that, one of his bits of advice, he had loads of like little nuggets of advice and that, but he used to always say about nutrition, like what you eat and everything you put into your body, and he used to always use the analogy of a F1 driver or an F1 car. Like you can't just put normal petrol into a F1 car.
Like
I remember all this,
electric,
and I was thinking, okay. Didn't take it on board until I was older, and then I was like, as soon as it just clicked with me one day, like when I started eating good and I like felt a difference. Then I was like, fucking, he was right. Should have listened.
Should have listened for that young age. But so he would have been your manager when you went into the youth team, no?
He was the head of youth,
right?
And he was also first team coach, and he was head of youth. Willie McStay was the manager,
right?
So Willie would always take the trainings, and then Tommy sometimes would come in and overlook it, or might come in and can't remember if he really took many trainings. But he would always like obviously have a keen eye, and he was the head of youth.
Was it always like, see if he turned up to a session or that? Did it always kind of up? Like,
I think so. Yeah, because there was also him being the head of the youth department, and also he was a first team coach. So it was almost like if he'd done well, he's
like the path.
He can give a good thing into the first team coaching staff and stuff.
So I think you always hear about that way, like football teams, like you hear like Walter Smith when he used to come and like drive and watch the young boys, but he would just like park his motor and sit, and it was just like
Ferguson as well, that he wouldn't even he'd just be looking at his big window. But so when you go into the first team, like what sort of anybody we would know that you were in the youth team with, like that ended up making a decent career? Or
in my youth team, My youth team, who's there? Graham Carey now is he's playing in Bulgaria.
All right.
He done well. There's a few teams, he was at St Mirren, went down to Plymouth for a few years, done well, and then he's been in Bulgaria for the last 4 years. Paul Caddis was a year above me.
So no many, like...
There wasn't a lot. No, there wasn't a lot. James Forrest was below me a year or two.
Right.
I hope there's not someone I've missed. There's lads from my youth team that are playing now up in Scotland, but didn't play for
The first
Celtic.
team.
Yeah,
Think
that's what I mean. Like
happens,
there's Michael Tidser at.
Oh yeah.
Where's he gone now? He was at Morton a while ago.
I was going to say Thistle, but Morton.
Cove or Keelty, one of those.
Aye,
teams.
Kelly Hearts or
Kelly
something.
Hearts.
Yeah,
Aye.
I don't know. Anyway,
But
Yeah.
I think that happened and all, like, happens down south for Chelsea and stuff, like, hunters are boys just don't make it for
and
Celtic.
like one or two will make it into the first team, if that sometimes.
yeah.
A
few of the Irish lads went home and played League of Ireland and stuff.
Right.
Aye.
And then the Scottish lad. I can't remember other lads playing for the first team.
Anyone of note? Nah.
And then Gauza was a few years above me as well.
So then you got into the first team, like, and then you must have been doing well. Did you kind of know that you were going to see when it came about that you're going to go into the first team and that? Are you made aware of it sort of in advance, or is it a kind of just like you're going to be in a squad, or what? How does that work?
No, so I think what happened was I was in the youth team doing really good. Then I got moved up to the reserve team.
Right.
And then my first game with the reserves, I think I scored 2 goals. Had a good start. And then what happened with the reserves, a lot of the time the reserves would mix in with the first team training. If the first team needed numbers or if they wanted to play 11v11s or stuff, and they'd take some of the reserves. And then it was kind of like if you're doing good for the reserves, you'd get pushed in to that group of players to go up with the first team.
Kind of group.
And then I think it just kind of worked like that. Went up and done well, and Strachan liked me.
Is that pure nerve-wracking going up and training with the first team, or because you were kind of, as you were saying, you were kind of naive about stuff? Was it just play your football? And
I think at the start of it, I was like going in without thinking too much about it. But then the more I was there, the more I kind of like thought about making mistakes. And then it got to the stage where you're just like, as soon as you got the call that you're training with the first team, you were just like, just start shitting yourself until training starts or until it finishes. You just want to get through it. Like, don't make any mistakes. Don't fuck anything up.
What kind of players would have been into it? Would that have been like...
Well, it was Strachan was the manager, so
was there still like Petrov in that? Would he still be there?
He left his
just
first
as you were coming
year.
in, maybe.
Yeah, I think they got rid of him to make room for me.
Free up the wage bill. So once you get in the first team, that you could. So do you come on? If I remember right, did you come on against Man United for your debut? Was that your debut?
No.
Like the first.
No, my debut was 2 seasons before that one.
Right.
It was in my first season when I went over, and it was away to Inverness in the cup.
Right.
And we were losing 1-0. I came on and I set up the equalising goal or the winner. I don't know. That's how bad my memory. I can't remember my debut, what I done.
That's shocking.
I set up Kenny Miller. Just
did you?
It was like a simple touch. I just laid it off and he scored from the edge of the box.
Celtic great, Kenny Miller.
I think as well though, like obviously Celtic are quite affiliated with Ireland and that, so when a young boy comes through and they're Irish and that, as soon like you could have made one pass and they're like, that boy was fucking brilliant today. Like they're like, well behind you.
Everyone after was like, great assist, great little touch, and I was like,
I know.
Yeah, I know.
But see once you started playing for like the first team regularly and that, like did you obviously it changed, but did you feel like, see when you were like regularly like coming off the bench and that, did you feel like your life changing completely for that moment? like sort of like going places and like getting noticed in that and stuff like that?
A little bit, but because I was a young player coming in, it was more so like only really Celtic fans that would have
like Paul the Town
kind of recognised it.
Did you get a picture of Paul the Town? Was he cutting a bit back then, do you think? Paul?
I don't think you've officially played for Celtic until you get a picture with Paul the Town, so
think so.
maybe you never actually played for Celtic, mate. That's it. But so it was more. So it was kind of you just kind of get eased in more if you're a younger player coming in.
Yeah.
So it's not just a pure
like
hectic
rarely
life.
I had any non-Celtic fan coming up and being like, "Oh, Cillian Sheridan."
Did you ever get any like dafties saying it?
Nah,
to you?
nah.
Nothing. Maybe because you're quite tall, mate. Maybe they didn't want to.
Were you like, what age would have been there? Like 17 or something?
When my debut was, again, I don't know if I was 17 or 18 or because it was like on my 18th
Right, aye.
birthday weekend, I was to go home.
All right.
That weekend we'd free, and I was going home for my 18th,
And you get called up?
and then I got called into the squad. Yeah,
Raging, missing your 18.
it was at the start. Yeah, because I didn't really think I was gonna
Oh, so did you?
make an appearance. I have a feeling it was my first time in a squad.
You're like, do I need to play? Are you sure? I'm going to be
getting
18.
mad with it back.
No, I remember initially being like, "Oh, but I'm supposed to be going home," and then I was like, straight away, "No, it's okay."
Imagine
It's
you said that
okay.
to go. Go on home, are you? Aye. You just go home, man.
Just don't come back. I can just see him saying it.
Yeah.
But how did you find Stratton as a manager when you were playing?
Intimidating,
Aye.
but it was the same kind of way as Neil Lennon was a little bit the same when he was a player. When, like, if you'd done something bad, they'd let you know. They'd high standards, but then when you done something good and they gave you a little bit of praise,
Lift you
it
up.
felt so much better, that little bit of praise, rather than there could be someone else who's really positive with you all the time.
And it doesn't mean as much.
Yeah, it doesn't. You still acknowledge it and like help. It's helpful, but then it just makes that one little time when they say you've done something good, you're like, "Oh, it must have been good."
Because you go home, you're like get buzzing off it, kind of. Even if they're just like, well played today, you're like,
Yeah.
That's a meal,
Plus, even those times when they knew when to give that little bit of like a little positive comment, even if I didn't do something that warranted it. Instead of they kind of just knew the moment.
It's like man management sort of, and it's knowing when to sort of be like that and be tough and that's what makes a good manager, kind of.
Aye, you kind of hear that a lot about Gordon Strachan. He was good at that.
Aye. So you played for Celtic. You were out in loan a few times. Motherwell, Plymouth,
St Johnstone, and then moved away.
So obviously you were still like really young at that time, and you're going out and loan a lot. And how was just getting sort of papped out and loan in that? Was it? How did you feel about that at the time? Were you feeling like, oh, I wish I don't want to go out and loan, or was it I want to go out and loan to get more game time, or like how were you feeling about that at that time?
I remember the first time I went out on loan, and I think I was just I just done it because it was the thing to do, and they were like, look, the club wants you to go here, it'll be good for you. And then I'm sure like initially I was like, I don't really want to leave, like it means I'm not a Celtic player kind of way.
Can I still wear the Celtic
but
stuff?
But then kind of as soon as I was there and you're in the first team dressing room and like you're a first team player, it felt, it's such a difference.
It felt good.
Because I was always like a reserve player or a youth player going up to the first team, where I was never like really, apart from match day squads, I was never in the first team dressing room. But to then go to Motherwell, where I was like a first team player,
How did it feel going back to Celtic then? Because when you went back to Celtic from the loans, were you back in the reserve dressing room or?
Yeah, and also Strachan left while I was on loan
for Mowbray.
Yeah, and then Mowbray came in. So when Strachan left, I was kind of gutted because I knew he liked me. And then when Mowbray came in, it just wasn't his. Didn't really take to me.
Was that not the season they signed? Like, did they not like let go of
to
20
be fair,
players?
Mowbray didn't really take to Celtic that
Aye.
much either. So
That January window signed like 10 players or something. didn't
Aye.
he? Like,
some mad.
He
mad
brought in
signings.
Fortune. Can't remember the other strikers.
Fortuny. I just remember Fortuny because we paid a fortune, and I seen 2 games, and I was like, bring Sheridan. Where's the sheriff? Get the sheriff recalled. No, but aye. So Mowbray came in.
Sheriff was down in Plymouth.
did you enjoy it, didn't it, Plymouth?
Not really.
No.
Because I was looking through like your record and that, and it was like appearances, goals, and then there was a 0. It was at Plymouth. I was like,
Did you
that
not
could have been a
score anything, South?
shaky one.
Nah, Scott, I was so annoyed about that just no goals. I was so
Did it
one
just not
game.
happen for you? Or?
I went and the start started off pretty good. Started the first maybe 3 or 4 games, then got injured for a little bit.
Ah, fuck.
But I remember I think it was the first game I started. We played Watford at home, and their goalkeeper just had an unbelievable game where I could have, like, on another day I might have scored 2 or 3, and then I'm flying, and I remember nothing would go in. And then I've kind of always looked back to that game when I was there. And then after that, when I went out of the team, I just didn't have the right attitude or mentality when I was too young, and just I didn't really know how to behave like when I wasn't in the team. And then I was thinking, right, this is shit down here. I'm not enjoying it.
So came back
I'll be going back to Celtic in a few months.
Found,
I'm not bothered. Kind of
wrong
I just kind
attitude,
of fucked it off. Yeah.
still looked for your boot. Yeah, you're taped up there.
Should have ripped
Go for
your
the
Should have just doing an idea putting up my boots.
What guy sign him up.
Cillian, what are you doing?
double hat trick and that.
So
This
obviously
is my process.
trust the process. So obviously a few loan moves back to Celtic. Then you find out sort of Mowbray, you're knowing his plans. I was wondering, like, see a lot of I hear a lot of footballers going, I wasn't in his plans. Does he come up? Does he pull you in and say, "Look, you're knowing my plans," or do you kind of just get a kind of feeling?
A wee weaselly hint.
Does it depend
it's
on?
different. It's different when if you're a first team player in that squad. The chances are they're going to come to you and say, "Look, you're not really in my plans," because they need to free up
Wages.
a space, wages and stuff for the first team squad. Whereas I was at this stage, I would have been a reserve player, where he doesn't really have anything to do with the reserves. It'd be more of a case of me saying, like, what's the story? Like, will you want me around, or can I go out on loan again? And I'm pretty sure that's how it played out.
So did you go out on loan from there, or did they?
When he came in, that's when I went to Plymouth. Yeah.
Oh, right.
And then see when you go back and, like, you find out, like, you're kind of knowing the plans. Obviously, you were young at that time still, and you said, like, even when you were down in Plymouth, maybe your attitude wasn't right. How did you react, like, emotionally to, like, knowing I'm no longer wanted here? How did you deal with that at the time?
I just kind of, like, fucked it off a bit. Like, I wasn't training right to show, like, I've got to fight to stay here and get back in a team and stuff like that. And the team was down, like, near relegation, so it wasn't really a place where they could have any passengers or anything. Where every training was like a fight, and I was just like, I just didn't have the right attitude to it. And then that other thing where I knew I'm coming back to Celtic anyway, and then I think near the end, very close to the end of the loan, then St Johnstone said, Derek McInnes at St Johnstone wanted to take me on loan. And it was literally, Plymouth played away to Newcastle. I don't know if it was a league game or a cup replay, FA Cup replay, and I don't know if I was on the bench or in the stand. And I literally went from Newcastle to Perth to St Johnstone. That it was like the loan finished that day, and then the next day I was already in at St Johnstone.
And you enjoyed it at St Johnstone a bit more than Plymouth?
I loved it there.
Yeah.
How's Dale?
Good. I really liked them. Liked them. Yeah, good trainings. Had a good team, like good dressing room. Jody Morris was there. And then because Chris Miller were driving from Glasgow, so I was living in Glasgow at the time, and I'd like car school with them. So kind of got to know them as well. So it was just so different to. It was like the complete opposite to Plymouth.
Aye.
It's like St Johnstone just been promoted. We're having a good season.
Just
everything was on the up. Yeah.
Aye, it's see that situation in Plymouth where it's like fighting relegation, and that's probably not an ideal setting for a young, especially a striker. Because if you go down and you're no scoring immediately, the pressure's on right away.
Yeah.
Whereas like you go to St Johnstone, they're buzzing up. They've just been promoted, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're on a high, and they're like, their goal is to just kind of stay in the league and do what they can do. So you probably got a wee bit more leniency there.
Yeah. Sorry, Peter McDonald was in it as well.
All right, aye.
He was in that car school as well. So I like had a good group of guys to go up and down with every day. But then also I think I scored pretty early on as well, which kind of settled everything. Yeah.
Aye.
But at Plymouth, being what you were saying there, like a young striker, who didn't like have to fight or whatever for the situation they were in. The other striker who was there, who was like, so I came down, I was playing, and he might have been, I'm sure, the same age, but he was like third or fourth choice, sometimes not making the bench, and then he was like a hard grafting striker, like put himself about. And he's Ashley Barnes, who's plays for Burnley. He's had a really good career, like Premier League striker.
Carved out
and that's career. Like from his attitude from when he was younger.
Hoodies, hats, and backpacks, all part of a wonderful life.
If you're going through to Collection 26, you can bring your wife.
If you bring your wife to Collection 26,
she would not be happier
than if you were to
bring your dad.
And if you want to bring your dad anywhere, make sure you are bringing him
in a cap.
And make sure, right? Make sure. Look, I know your dad, right? You might not know him, but I know him. And what he was saying to me was, that no good bastard son of mine.
That no good bastard son of mine.
And he was talking like that, and I think he's actually got some problems. But what he was saying to me was, it's meant to be my boy. I gave him everything I could. It's quite emotional. It is an emotional story. He said, all I want is a Collection 26 fucking hoodie and a fucking hat.
Get the guy a hoodie and a hat.
And he actually had asbestos poisoning and rectal bleeding, which I don't know how that...
I think they were correlated.
Think so? Think one led to the other?
Yep, I think he was sprinkling it on his chips.
Don't do that with asbestos, guys. But what you can do is buy a Collection 26 hoodie. And when you're buying that hoodie, use the code Reilly's Gaff, yeah? This is coming out later this month, I believe.
Absolute nailer.
It is, it's very nice. And Jamie was actually meant to be wearing a similar one, which I forgot to bring. So, you know, this is also a life lesson. Even the very best make mistakes. So take that home with you and take it home and then buy a Collection 26 hoodie. Code Reilly's Gaff, money off. You know the drill. When you're checking out, type it in. The website is in the description. Go down there, have a wee gander. And, you know, see what tickles your fancy.
Treat yourself.
Self-kill, baby. Kill all your friends.
Do you think Andy's ever got to kill a pal now? Kill one of their pals?
I'll just say it was a kind of poetry thing. Oh, Jamie.
Evan.
And that is a great song. And I always sing that song when I'm getting my hair cut in.
Myles Co.
The
place you go.
And Co, do you know what the Co stands for? Cocoa Pops. Because they love Cocoa Pops and Myles Co. And they love cutting hair as well, man.
Disney.
And also they're the first, right? The first barbers in the UK. Did you know this? I don't know if you know this, right? First barbers in the UK to be actually producing the pube fade. Now the pube fade is a sort of illustrious, sort of hidden, sort of mysterious, mythical thing in the lands of Scotland.
You think you're educating me about a pube fade, mate? I was one of the first people in the UK to have a pube fade.
Where did you get it done illegally though?
Well, I got it done off Ryan the Goblin Man.
Oh, did you?
But it was behind. It was
behind closed doors
during lockdown in the garage. Know what I mean?
Aye.
Just because I felt pure, like I just wanted to feel a bit better about myself. Do you know what I mean?
Pick yourself up with that pube fade.
Aye, mate. I strutted a bit for ages with it, man. But
it's totally understandable. And you know they're offering this service to anybody. I think it's £45.
45 grand.
But you will get money off that pube fade by mentioning us. A meager mention. Oh, seen you on that mad podcast, man. It's funny, eh? That's all you need to say. That's it.
I seen you on that podcast. It's heavy shite. Say that.
That is probably what happens a lot. And even if you do think it's shite, but you just happen to have watched this, just go and get your money off. You know what I mean? Just go and do it. So when you're in Myles Co, you're getting your haircut. Say, hey, baby. Look, I seen you in Reilly's gaff, and you're going to get money off your haircut or whatever service you've got, the pube fade, whatever.
Sorry, I had these pubes, yeah.
Sorry, these pubes, baby, yeah. And definitely, if you say that, you'll get it done for nothing. So, and also if you're booking through the Booksy app, which they're available on, write in the notes, Reilly's gaff. That's all you need to write. Easy as that. If you're phoning, just say it when you're on the phone, so they know when you're coming in. It's very easy. Or if you forget to do all that and then you get there, just mention it when you're there. It's easy peasy. But the guys at Myles Co will sort you out with the best haircuts in Glasgow, no doubt about it. And they're doing an offer where if you go and you don't like your haircut, you can come and punch my head in. But that's a new thing.
You can try,
but only if you use code Reilly's gaff when you see me, and then I will allow the bathroom to take place. Then I will allow it to take place. But until then, get down to Myles Co, guys. Cheers. Oh, Jamie, I really want to start a business right now.
Right. Well, we can do that. With the help of our trusty friend Scott McClure.
Yay! Scott McClure, wow. You maybe heard him last week on Richard Dixon, a good friend of Richard Dixon's, and that's how you know, come on, he's going to make you the money, yeah? Scott McClure's a man. Look, the thing with Scott McClure is you want to start a business, man. And you know, a business, I know you're maybe sitting thinking, what, little old me? Starting a business? I could never do that. Yes, you can. Look at us. Mm-hmm. This is a business.
The top businessman.
This is all this is, a business. There's no enjoyment here or nothing. This is strictly business.
We hate each other.
But we set it up through Scott McClure, yeah. And Scott McClure is going to take you from no having a business to having one in 90 days.
Also, Evan, I think no just like all the kind of company numbers or that kind of boring stuff. He'll help your online presence. Know what I mean?
Aye.
He'll help
He does it all.
Get your name out there. Know what I mean?
Aye. So he's going to help you. Just it's a mentorship program. So this is a guy who's done this already. He's been for nothing and made stuff for himself. He's a very smart man. I've had many conversations with him. He's a guy you can trust. So he's got a second program as well. If you've already got a business that's maybe struggling or you want to just improve things or get a bit of advice, he's got a second mentorship program. So how do you get in touch with Scott about this? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You go down to the description. His Instagram is in the description. It'll be under Scott McClure. All you need to do is go to his Instagram and mail him the words Reilly's gaff. That's it. You don't need to be like, hi, seen you on the podcast. I want to make cups for people with no hands and I don't know what to do. Like, you don't need to do all that. You just message him saying Reilly's gaff and then he'll get back to you through that. So it's very, very easy, guys.
Push to the front of the queue.
You do get a queue jump with Reilly's gaff, yeah. And also, what's going to happen is if you do get in contact with him, you're going to jump in a wee call, see if you're all right for it, see if you're suitable. And then once you do get through, you're going to get money off the course, as always with us. Come on. As always, yeah. So, what are you waiting for? Get down there, start your own business, message Scott McClure, Reilly's gaff. Cheers. That just shows like it is about your attitude and your commitment as well. Sort of like how much do you want it rather than like just your talent.
Natural ability kind of thing. Yeah. Aye.
But see, after the loan at St Johnstone, then you come back to Celtic. Is that like when your contract's ending?
No. So for like my last 2 years, I'd say there, when I'd come back at the end of a season, I'd have 1 year left on my contract. So the club would say, if you want to go out on loan again, you have to sign a year extension because they're not going to let me go out with a year left on my contract. Yeah, have a good 6 months and then a team can sign me for free. Yeah. So I always had to sign that extra year. But then it just happened that the move to Bulgaria came about. Yeah. And I was at the time I remember wanting to not do another loan move because I would have had Motherwell, Plymouth, St Johnstone. So it would have been 4 loan moves on the bounce in four transfer windows. Excuse me. And I just was like, nah, I'll probably either stay for the year
And then go.
or get a transfer, like a permanent transfer, and
It's a
then
good move, isn't it? Like,
It is. See, at the time though, like obviously it's a kind of left field sort of move for like a young guy playing in Scotland. But was there any other teams interested in you at the time? Can you remember?
don't think so. Those teams interested in a loan move because that 6 months at St Johnstone, I scored like 6 goals. And at the end of it, I got called up to the Irish team. They had a training camp. Guys pulled out. And then I got into I think it was a 10-day or 2-week training camp. Done well. And then got 2 caps in during that summertime. So I came back to Celtic then with international caps. So I was in a much better position like for other teams to go to have loan options. But then to get like a transfer was kind of the one thing I wanted.
Ireland would have been a pure good squad at that time and all.
Aye, Keane and that would have been that time, yeah.
Keane, Duff, all the when Trapattoni was the manager.
Aye. Duff a baller, aye. Was Damien
Oh,
Duff was he a baller? Duff a baller.
I thought you were saying like Duff ball or something like that. They were
Unreal team at that time.
they
Man.
were like.
What's happened to them now, man?
Need Trapattoni back.
My pals, I've got pals at Laverne Cork, and they're like, they've just said they don't like football anymore. They just watch hurling all the time now.
Really?
I don't even know what
Ireland national team. The sheriff needs to come back.
Since I've been gone.
I mean, that's what it is.
It is. But obviously the move to Bulgaria, you're still really young at that time. Were you like a bit apprehensive at all about going over there, or were you just like, it's an offer, I'll go play my football there?
Nah, I thought about it for a while, like humming and hawing, and then obviously it was a really good like money term. It was much more than what I would have been getting. And then because I was young as well, I said, well, I've got, if it all goes
You've got a
tits
long
up,
career.
I'm still, and I come back, I'm still only going to be 24. So worst case scenario is I come back and I'm 24. I'm still young. And I kind of did go tits up.
But not like when you went over there, obviously like it's a good financial offer and stuff like that. But as a young guy who's grown up in Ireland and then Scotland, like moving to Bulgaria, what was was there like a big culture shock?
Yeah, huge. Like in everything, just day-to-day living, football, all of it together was just totally different. But it's helped me then to go on abroad later on in my career, where I could straight away, I could say, I'll go there, no problem, because I knew what to expect, what to do, what not to do.
Because you kind of hear a lot like players saying like, "Oh, I found it hard to settle in." And that is it the football that's the main like challenge of that, or is it more like
Just the
lifestyle? Do you know what I mean? Sorry.
The lifestyle, yeah, but also football, because everything is done. Not everything, but a lot of the structure and like day-to-day stuff, your weekly schedule is way different to what it's like here.
Right.
Like here you've got the rigids in Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday, in Thursday, Friday, game Saturday, off Sunday. Whereas abroad you could be in every day during the week. And I remember like the first time it happened, I was like, why don't we have a day off? Why don't we have Wednesday off?
Violating my human rights.
And I was thinking the whole time, like, this isn't the right way to do things.
Like, just because you've came from you've grown up doing something different, you're like, nah. And that's like that.
But it still happens. Like it still happens here when foreign managers come in and the players are all kicking up. They're like, what's it like? Why are we in on Wednesday? Why don't we have a day off?
Mind that Alessio, or not Alessio, that guy.
The DJ?
No, that guy at Kilmarnock, what was his name again? The Italian guy?
Oh,
He had them
Well,
in
something like that.
He had them in at like 6 a.m. to like 4 in the day every day. And the boys
Aye.
are like, what you doing?
That's a bit extreme. That's a bit extreme.
but it is a thing managers need to take into consideration. Like, and I guess some come in and obviously they want to implement their way of doing things, and it's like it can go tits up. I remember like when Dyla came into Celtic, I think there was a big thing with that. Like
No
he wanted
sauce.
no tomato sauce, and that as if there's one rule at Celtic:
Leave
don't take the tomato sauce. It's like, and I don't think the players took well to it, but he was really just trying to make them healthier. I think.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Fuck off."
Treat your body like what is it, an F1 car?
Aye.
So I'm going to start doing and don't look at that Domino's box.
There's literally a Domino's sitting there. But can you remember, like, obviously the language and stuff, but can you remember even just like things outside of football that were just weird to you in Bulgaria?
Bulgaria, yeah. Bulgaria, this is 100% true. When you shake your head, that means yes. And nodding your head means no.
Fuck me, man.
And I remember the guys saying it to me, and I didn't kind of laughed it off a bit and never thought much of it. And then it dawned on me one day when I kept going into there was a little supermarket beside me, and sometimes I'd go in and get like a Mars bar, or I'd just pick up one or two like little things. And I'd go to the till. She'd ask if I wanted a bag. I'd just be like, nah, it's okay. Mm-hmm. And then she kept giving me a bag, and I was like, literally like a Mars bar, walking over with a Mars bar in a bag. And after like 4 or 5 times, it just dawned on me one day. I was like, why does she keep giving me a bag? And then I remembered the head nodding.
That's like such a slight change, but it would pure fuck me up, man. Like, imagine that.
That is like one of the first things you learn. Just
and as far as I know, only Bulgaria have it. It's not like an Eastern European thing. Or
I know what you mean.
I think
when I lived in Vietnam, it was like no, it was like that.
Aye.
Like they don't like that's no. It's like. That's
yeah,
it.
That's a Beyonce.
But that is like they've done like Uno Reverse on you, man. That's like switching them a bit. That's crazy.
It's just pointless, man.
I would have terminated the contract.
Cyprus had a little bit.
I'm really good at this. I've
That's
just
a
discovered
difficult
this.
skill. That is
Did you
difficult.
see this? See what I'm doing here?
You end up getting arrested or something. It's like the police pull you over. It's like, have you been taking any weapons in your car?
Not at all, mate. Why are you so excited about it?
So, that is a huge culture shock. But see, just obviously in terms of the football and that, like, what's their game like compared to like the way it is here? It's quite a fast paced, intense game here. But what's it like there?
Bulgaria, it's a much slower game. Way more technical.
Kind of European.
Yeah, like a lot, always playing from the back.
Oh, that garbage.
Yes, like even I remember after games thinking, I could go and play another game here.
Oh, really?
Like fitness is different kind of fitness.
Oh, right, aye. Does that suit you, that playing for the back? Obviously, you're like a kind of tall striker.
Now I like it.
Aye.
Like if kind of that's where I've done well when I went abroad after this time. Cyprus especially, it's because of the heat as well there.
Aye.
You can't play and train at the same intensity that you would here.
That's some place to go out to play football in it, Cyprus. That'd be brilliant.
I know. And see just on Bulgaria as well, like see obviously there was a culture shock, but did you enjoy living there?
Nah.
See, it's
Bulgaria.
This is the thing.
I did when I first went over.
Aye.
And
because it's a new sort of.
I went over when I was on my own. One of my best friends, Jamie, he just finished uni back in Ireland. So he finished uni, didn't have a job. So I was like, just come over to Bulgaria for like a month or two. And so the two of us were there and like going out or whatever.
Aye.
But they didn't like that. So it wasn't the same as here where you win on a Saturday, you don't have a game until the following weekend. Go out Saturday night. But it wasn't over there, they didn't like that at all.
No, not at all.
At all.
I wouldn't have thought it would have been as professional. Like, obviously it's a professional league and stuff, but I mean, I would have thought like Scotland, like Celtic and stuff, would have been more stringent and stuff like that than Bulgaria.
No,
because there was like a drinking culture here and that. Like, obviously it was a good while before. Actually, it was probably about 20 years before you were at Celtic, wasn't it? Like that kind of.
Yeah.
No,
but I don't mean. Even in Scotland, it's not like every weekend, but I just remember the time in Bulgaria. Like the first time I went out, they pulled me up, and I was like,
what?
Like I didn't think I was doing anything wrong.
Aye.
They just don't want you going out at all, really.
Yeah, had the next day off, not a game for another week or something.
Aye.
But
they're like, you better stop.
were you out?
I was saying to them, dude, like, can I go out tonight?
Brilliant.
Or no, they would have been.
You're like, fucking brilliant. I love this place, mate. We get training tomorrow? No. Fucking. But see, obviously then, because I remember, you know what's funny about Bulgaria? I remember when I was younger, there was a lot of people going to Bulgaria on holiday. It was like, oh, Bulgaria.
Sunny beach.
Aye, sunny beach. And then there was a kind of period in time where didn't really see that. And then England played Bulgaria, and I was like, things have took a wee turn for the worst here, it seems, in Bulgaria.
Oh,
yeah, I remember that. That was bad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember there was a guy, as a YouTuber, do you know that, what's his name?
Thogden.
You know Thogden? Thogden and his dad.
I know.
Thogdad. It's like two English little
I've heard of Thogden's dad.
But no Thogden.
No.
That's an L for Thogden. No, it's just this.
If you've heard of Thogden's dad, you've heard of Thogden.
Oh, true.
Well, yeah.
Thogdad he's actually called it. Aye, they've shortened it.
Maybe that's what I've heard. Thogdad.
Aye. But they done like a whole vlog where they went over. The game was in Bulgaria actually, aye, and they got chased after it and all that. Mad.
They did, yeah.
Aye, they got chased by like casuals for like the national team.
I saying that you're playing professional football, I don't know if you would have noticed stuff like that, but have they got like mad ultra sections of the stadium and that? Are they mad?
Yeah.
Aye. Aye, so I was kind of on like Russia now to see mad shit like the training in forests.
I think there was, see, I think it's Italy. There was a team and it's like the ultras marched. It might have been Inter or something. I can't remember. It's like the ultras like demanded a meeting with the board and they got it and they went right. All the ultras went right into the boardroom and all that. It's like, whoa.
That happened in Dynamo Kiev or something, in Ukraine.
Aye, something like that. Aye, but
I've had it in places where the ultras come into the training ground and will like stop meetings and they'll have their own meeting with the players and stuff.
Right, you better start winning games.
I'm the manager now.
We're getting really annoyed.
We told a story.
It's pretty much like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck that. Fuck messing with them as well. We were telling a story in the podcast about this guy. I think it's for Bells Hill or something. Jamie was playing like juniors and like this guy. He was playing against this team.
Armies, mate, not juniors.
Armies, whatever. It's so the same. And then like a guy, he was playing against that guy, and he was like the captain of the other team. He's like, this guy's fucking nuts. He was trying to fight with everybody in that, and he said to like the other team, like, fuck, how long's he been playing for you or something? He's like, he literally came down last week and said, I play for you and I'm the captain.
Really?
He's a psycho, mate.
He just at the jail.
He was an absolute nutter.
And hopefully he's back in.
I beat him to a header and he was fucking so annoyed at me.
He was
so upset with me. So
The monk.
Aye, the monk guy. What's that called again? Mind that?
Aye.
Watch it.
But so obviously your time at Bulgaria came to an end. Like, what happened there? Was it just ran out of form?
Yeah, so I went there, started off alright, and then the new manager came in and wasn't playing me. And then because I wasn't playing, I just kind of like, and I wasn't enjoying it. The team started doing well, started winning. I wasn't playing, so they were kind of like, right, well, we've got this player now that we kind of don't need. So I wasn't really involved at all. And then kind of similar as before, I just was like, wasn't enjoying living there anymore. And I was just thinking, I can't wait for the season to be over. Just to like, that's it done. Like hopefully I'll try getting moved back to Scotland or something. And then kind of like similar thing, I kind of fucked it off a little. And then came back, had that season at St Johnstone, and then ended up going back to Bulgaria for my third season there.
Aye. And then after that it was Cyprus.
Yeah.
So
no. So I went to St Johnstone for a season loan, and then when I was there, I kind of could see myself in other players how I was in Bulgaria,
right?
And it kind of changed, like my attitude towards it, towards training and towards football kind of stuff, and then after that season, I was like, right, I want to go back to Bulgaria and kind of like make up for the first season. Yeah, like show, look, that's not
Did it make a
how
difference?
I am. Went back there, done pre-season. The manager liked me, was in for the game. Then they had a load of shit, like they got a transfer ban and stuff and they couldn't register new players.
Politics, red tape.
No, it was just a shit show. And then I ended up leaving just the very last day of the transfer window to become a free agent and come back. Then I went back to Scotland and signed for Kilmarnock. And then after the 1 season at Kilmarnock, Apoel wanted to sign me. Paulo Sergio
Hearts.
got the Apoel job and he wanted to sign me.
Oh, because he would. Did he go from Hearts to there?
Yeah.
And then he's obviously thought.
So
the
when
sheriff's coming.
when I was at St Johnston, I scored, I think, both games we played Hearts, or seemed to play really good.
Was this when you had
every
the
time
moustache?
against Hearts?
And you had short hair and
Yeah,
a moustache.
yeah,
I watched an interview.
yeah.
Then it was like man of the match. I think he scored 2 or something, and you were just sitting. I was like, who is that? He feels short hair and a big moustache.
Maybe that's what got you the move, mate. The tash.
That was the day the sheriff was born.
that was
The handlebar.
That's a total sheriff moustache, isn't it? But the move to Cyprus, like, I mean, I've not been to Bulgaria or Cyprus, but I imagine Cyprus would be a bit more enjoyable.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, so got the call to Cyprus, and then when it was agreed, like between Kilmarnock and Apoel and stuff, I was like straight away I knew, yeah, that's where I want to go. Because I knew Apoel 2 seasons before got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League.
Aye.
So I knew like they were
They're
a big team,
aye.
had good European record, and they'd won the league for the last few years. And I was like, yes, straight away I want to go there. They didn't seem to have any issues, like problems with the club or anything, and I knew Cyprus, nice country. So then I was able to, from the Bulgarian experience, I was able to be like, right, yeah, straight away I want to go there.
Do you think you had matured at that point as well to a bit more than like moving to Bulgaria that first time? Do you think you had your head screwed on a bit better in terms of your attitude and stuff?
Yeah, massively. And so I went there, and like I was saying before about the weather in Cyprus, so I went there and the first 2 or 3 days training, I was training as if I was in Scotland.
I just hung on there.
Yeah, and like at the end of training, he was playing some small games or something, and I was just dead on my feet. And then I'd see these other players, like Brazilians and stuff, some Portuguese guys. They were good players, but at the end, I was like, how would this still have all this energy on the ball? Like, how does fucking, I can't get over
just
this.
Like knowing how much to push yourself and stuff in that.
Yeah, just like not unnecessarily like running all over the place to press or trying to. Also, I was as well trying to impress as well, so I was just busting myself.
See, I've actually played football in Cyprus.
Have you?
I gave my fives.
I gave my fives in
actually half
Cyprus.
right, and do you know who was playing? And actually tore it up. This was when I was like a wee guy. Get a picture of him in that. Rab Douglas.
What, he was
But
playing
it was
outfield?
midfield, mate. Skinning cunts, Megan cunts.
I thought I'll be honest, I thought it was going to be
Do you know,
a more illustrious name than a goalie playing outfield.
Mate, I've met him in 2 different holidays in 2 different countries.
Mate, I've seen Rob Douglas
You know,
about. He's
mate.
fucking everywhere, man.
He's huge, isn't he?
Maybe that's how he's everywhere. Like, that's fucking Rob Douglas, 3 miles down the road with the big horns and that.
Who's the guy with the goalie glove?
Mate, do you know what I noticed about playing football? The time I played football in Cyprus, what I noticed about it was, the both of your feet get dead hot. I get pure sore feet playing for that.
Aye, the heat. Aye.
You know what I mean?
Getting used to that heat. But so you moved to Apoel. Like I always wonder, because we are both Celtic fans, grew up Celtic fans and that, right? And like we only know one way that fans are, like in terms of if Celtic draw or don't win, it's a fucking disaster. You don't want to go into your work the next day. Like, it's so intense here. So like Apoel, it's obviously a big club. Like, what was the sort of expectations there? Was it like we need to win the league or it's terrible?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's it,
and probably it's almost more there as a player. It's almost more because the island is so small. So like everywhere you go, people know who you are. And I'm tall, I kind of stick out as well. So it's like every like shopkeepers, everyone kind of would know who you were. So like if you lost a game, you'd kind of keep your head down. And it was the same thing. Like even if you drew a game, it was like a big
deal.
Yeah.
And were they the same with like stuff like going out and stuff, or like going, say like you got beaten, you're fucking caught on the beach the next day? Like fucking, did they know like that stuff?
No, if they saw you like always going to the beach, they'd be like, this isn't a holiday. Like a lot of the fans would be like,
He's sitting with a cocktail.
they'd call
I
him-
think you'll find it is.
That's a bet.
like when players go there and don't do well, they get called a tourist.
Right.
And
Because they're just treating it like a
yeah,
holiday.
so I was, but also the other thing I had was because I was out training in such heat in the morning, or else sometimes a lot of the time you might train in the evening when it's cooler, the sun goes down. So the last thing you want to do is, if you've trained in the morning, the last thing I want to do is go home and then go out into the sun again.
I suppose that.
And if I'm training in the evening, you're not going to lie in the sun all day and then try training in the evening with no energy. So I wasn't really
Treating
like,
it like a
lying
holiday.
lying out in the sun either, yeah. And some of the lads had said, like, just be careful on when you're going out to the beach and stuff like that.
What is the kind of lifestyle of like a football player in Cyprus? Is it no brilliant? Like, just imagine that, like pure table, like rooftop restaurants. Not
If
olives,
the football is going good, it's brilliant.
Aye.
Because then you kind of you give yourself the freedom to go and you're allowed to do that stuff to enjoy it.
Aye.
But when football's not going good, it's a tough place to be
Hostile.
because it's so intense
small.
and so small. Yeah. So like, because when we first went, Paulo Sergio was struggling, and we got knocked out of the Champions League qualifier. We got knocked out of, and then we got knocked out of the Europa League playoff qualifier. So already, like, the fans were kind of against him,
Right.
and then had a bad start to the league, and he got sacked after maybe 9 or 10 games. And like, so even before that, like, that was when the fans would come and say, like, they'd come and interrupt training and before training and be like, this isn't good enough, and it's like about 50 of them all hooded up.
Fuck's sake, man.
So when did do you remember a thing called the Blair Pitch Project?
Yeah.
I've been binging them.
Yeah.
When did that start? That was over in
That was
Apoel, right?
well, that was the second season when we qualified for the Champions League, and
It's party time then.
and loads of I say loads, a few places from back home, because I was the only Irish player that I think was definitely in the Champions League. I don't know about Europa League,
aye.
and it's like there was loads of interest from back home, and they were wanting to do. A few places were wanting to do something with me, like to document it.
Aye.
And I was thinking of doing it myself anyway, so I was like, right, I may as well do it with them. They can do all the editing, and it was just basically me videoing myself, like going around to the away games and stuff like that. I could have done it much better.
I liked it. I thought it was edited pure well. It was like, it's like you sitting talking, going, got to get a coffee and that, and then it would cut to like you singing in your room and that, and then it would go back to just you like heading to training and stuff.
So
It was pure interesting.
if I was a little bit self-conscious about like going around with the camera and stuff, so a lot of the time I was doing it
Yeah.
where the guys couldn't see me.
Right.
Um,
Selfie stick it.
And now you've got fucking, what's his name? Is it Ben Foster? He just fucking puts the camera in his goals and that. doesn't he?
I know, yeah, he's gone the complete opposite way.
He's got a GoPro on.
That's next, honestly. He's got a podcast and everything.
Aye.
He's set up for life after football,
I
isn't
know.
he?
Have you seen this shit he does where like he's talking to Salah after it and that, and all the other fans go after that, like, why have you been pal?
Aye, they've just got beat 5-0 or something.
Yeah.
He's like, you're fucking brilliant, mate. Like,
But so obviously that's a big side.
Club
and-
Med Diaries, that's what it was
Aye,
called.
Aye.
But is that no Club I said to you, I was like, probably like a Mediterranean thing. I thought it was like something in Cyprus because it was called Club Med.
But it's the Mediterranean Sea.
Aye, that's what I mean. But you were saying something about it being for back home. Was that not like a
It was done through Joe.
Football Joe or whatever it's called?
Football Joe, yeah.
Aye.
I don't know if that's still a site.
Aye,
I
that's
feel like
what
it is. Is it like yellow, right?
Aye.
I can see
Yeah,
the thing.
I know Joe.co.uk
.com.
is
Oh,
very
right.
big. So Joe is Irish, and it started off as just Joe.ie
Oh, really?
in Ireland, and then they got into
And the British nicked
into the
it.
UK,
The British nicked it.
and they
Terrible,
were
innit?
they were starting Football Joe,
Right.
and they went with me to
The
try
poster
and-
boy.
and help us.
The face of the
Football
movement.
Joe is no longer.
You killed it.
They've just went back to Joe.
As soon as we got knocked out of the groups, gone. No
Aye.
interest in me.
Fucking.
Aye. Who's that you're playing next? Never mind.
Yeah.
So you played in the Champions League groups for Apoel, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our first game was away to Barcelona, and then
Unreal, innit?
but the best bit was, so we were playing in the new camp, and on like Tuesday or Wednesday, and then that weekend in Cyprus we played away to Ayanapa. So literally went from playing Barcelona to playing Ayanapa.
It's an unreal life, that, by the way.
I want a night out after that game, man.
It's a celebration.
That's a
innit?
scandal waiting to happen, innit?
Did you just reverse the score? What was the score actually in there at Nou Camp?
New camp we only lost 1-0.
Was that? Aye.
It's like a win almost.
A set piece as well. That doesn't really count for Barcelona.
No.
Well,
They shouldn't be. That should be a rule. Like they're not allowed to score for them or something when you go.
Yeah.
What is they start -1 or
Aye.
What is it like playing in the Nou Camp for a start, but with the Champions League music playing before it and all that? Like that's just a dream that anybody that likes football, that's the dream, innit?
Yeah, the Champions League song is the one where you're like, made it. I done that in one of the games. I sang along to it in Cyprus, and because when I played it at Celtic, it was kind of like that was the norm for Celtic. So it wasn't. I never thought of it as such a big deal.
Right.
And then when I left, and I kind of realized that's like how hard it is to get there. So when I done it with Apoel, because I was also a first like part of the team that qualified. And I was playing in the games as like the first team striker.
You felt more
kinda
part
took
of it as well.
Yeah, I took it in a lot more, and I was like way more appreciative of it.
Aye.
So like even like I'd kind of made myself absorb it all more. So like going to the new camp, I remember like walking down. You go from the dressing rooms, you walk down big stairs to walk up into the stadium.
Right.
So like I remember like going down that and just being like, remember all this, like take all this in.
So who would have been in there?
What kind of Barcelona? That have been about.
Was that Pep?
It was the year they won it with Messi, Suarez, and Neymar.
Doesn't get much
MSN.
better than it. MSN, man.
Yeah, Denny's remember the video that was going about Ronaldinho when the Champions League music were playing and he's gone,
Oh, that is like a gif, isn't it? Yeah,
it's so funny, man.
I always see,
You're savouring
I
it.
always see CD guys comment on that, like mad Celtic dads, like it's up here going to the game today, and it's like a woman, it's up here average woman, well, that Celtic tough one, it's all the dads be
So in Cyprus when we qualified, and because I was doing those videos, I was like, right, because when I was watching it, I used to always say I'd love a player to like sing along to the anthem. So then I had my chance.
Can we get a rendition? No, live on the podcast.
Well, I need to be in a lineup.
need to be in the Champions League.
But the camera never picked it up really. So like, see how the camera's panning across? It was during the instrumental part.
Mr.
It
Lyrics.
wasn't the singing.
What
yeah.
is the
What,
lyrics?
even the lyrics?
These are the champions. That's how I was.
Something like that.
These are the champions.
I don't think anybody really sings. I think they just make the noises.
Well, I
sheriff
did.
sings
I
it.
did.
Do you have the lyrics wrote in?
And you know,
Just miming it.
Football Joe would still be alive if you had those lyrics in your. I don't know, fucked it. But who else was in that group? Who else did you end up playing against?
PSG and Ajax.
Aye, fucking hell,
Easy-
man.
easy
You
group,
can't
man.
ask for more than that, really.
that is like when you hear group of death, that just describes it to a
What
T,
was
doesn't it?
what do you think was the best atmosphere at them?
PSG.
Oh, really?
PSG.
Yeah.
I mean,
PSG away. I was so surprised how good it was.
their ultras are mad. So
Yeah.
Aye, they're crazy. Aye,
I think because I thought like
Some
PSG is like a real rich club.
that's just they're no arse.
Yeah, but they were so good.
Aye.
That's crazy, man.
Would that have been during like though? That would have been after the kind of got pure rich as well. Aye.
No,
No,
it was
just before sort of.
Aye.
No,
Before the
no,
oil
they
one.
had the current owners were the owners then.
Oh, were
Right.
they? Aye.
So they had like Cavani up front,
Oh, so it was Cavani. I'm trying to think.
Ibrahimovic.
Matuidi,
He was
maybe
injured, but it was that time
Tweedy.
when he was there.
Sort of.
Thiago Silva.
Aye. Oh, so aye, good team. No bad then.
No bad wee team, man. Aye.
Aye. And then Ajax as well. That's crazy. The three teams to be
It
in the
was
group
good.
stage.
Was it no?
See, in terms
Real?
of getting to like play the best teams and go to the best stadiums, it was the best you could get. But then on the other side, you're kind of like, we could have got teams that we could have beaten. Definitely in Cyprus.
So would you have preferred to have got a still Bucharest and all that? Would you have preferred
you want a mix though? You want like Barca?
Probably
and
no.
Nah,
Now
you want
back,
the big teams, man. You've played against Barca, PSG and Ajax in the same fucking 6-week period, mate. That's amazing. That's amazing. Just let a boy fire.
No many
on,
people
you know
can
what I mean?
say that. That's
I
mad.
missed the sitter against Ajax.
Did you?
Did you?
Yeah, that's one of my biggest regrets.
Get it up. Get it up. Put it on repeat.
Did you like get any decent results in that, or
We drew with Ajax that game
in Cyprus?
Yeah, we drew 1-1. We lost at home to PSG 1-0 in the last
Tight
minute.
games, man.
Last minute. Then we lost 1-0 away to them. They scored in the first minute. And then Ajax hammered us away. Like
That just shows like
4-0 maybe.
how good Apoel were back then. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think? I'm trying to think who would have been like the Celtic team at that time. But do you think like at that time Apoel were like similar standard to Celtic?
I thought at that time, yeah, I thought I was playing
Probably
at a
better.
better level.
Better, yeah.
That was
It was Mowbray.
it was when this was Ronnie Dyla's
Aye.
seasons when there was no Rangers weren't in the league.
Aye.
Oh, aye.
Standards sort of
Aberdeen
dropped.
was their nearest challenge.
So we were getting beat off Molda and all that when
Aye.
you were drawn with Ajax
on the beach, fucking.
and Ian Appa.
I don't want to ask about Iron Appa, mate. But so then you played for Apoel, 46 appearances, and then you ended up going to the Rivals, didn't you?
Yeah.
Omonia.
Yeah, so I got released from Apoel, a 2-year contract. They'd changed manager then in January, and then they changed manager in January, and then we had one league game we had 2 league games left. We had to get 4 points out of the 2 league games, and we had a cup final, and they sacked the manager before he could
Fucking hell.
play those games, and then he would have won the league and the cup.
That's terrible, isn't it?
So he ended up winning the cup and the league as well that year again. And then they didn't want to offer me a new contract, so I was free agent. And then a few teams in Cyprus wanted to sign me, but
Are they the 2 sort of top teams?
I'd say they're the 2 biggest teams.
Right.
But then I'd say they're the 2 biggest teams, yeah. I'm pretty sure Omonia is fan base is the biggest team in Cyprus.
Really?
Apoel's the most successful team.
Right, okay.
Definitely in recent times. And then there's like other good teams down in Limassol, Apoel and Limassol.
Aye.
They played Aberdeen a couple of years ago, didn't they?
Yeah, they knocked them out in the thing.
I always
And
find
Orthosis, they're another
aye.
good team. They've done Champions League before.
Is that similar to, maybe not similar, but is it like going for Celtic to Rangers? And did you get a lot of shit? Like,
I'd never got much shit from it at all. There was one incident that like was a completely separate thing, but nothing. Don't know why I said a separate thing. Basically,
what have you been doing?
basically we were at
we're in Iron Appa.
we were at
Blast that guy.
we were at a beach like a beach concert.
All right.
And remember like a guy it was when I was moved to Omonia, and there was like maybe 6 or 7 of us out, and we were there with some of the guys who were Cypriot. A load of their friends were with us, and we're kind of like up on a little bit of a stage bit, like where there was some seating or whatever, and then the peasants down on the beach. And
Hate that.
so I know we're getting near the end of the night and was going to leave, or not going to leave. Next thing I was walking across, and I just saw like a load of commotion, and didn't really know what had happened, and then saw like people behind me falling around or falling back, and I said, fuck's going on there? And then like a minute later, all the lads are coming up, you okay? I'm like, yeah, why? What's happened? And then they said, so the guy threw a glass at me from the thing, some mad Apoel fan
Fuck's sake.
threw a glass at me, missed me, hit like a wooden thing and smashed.
The
And
same
then
as Gauza with Neil Lennon.
and and then the guy's like missed me with the glass and then tried to get me himself, but the other guys saw him and they got him.
You're just walking away from it all.
And, yeah, so I was totally oblivious to it. I didn't know anything that had happened.
Fucking
So
hell,
like
man.
I did have a little bit of trouble over it, but I didn't.
Somebody
You didn't
else
even
saw
know
But
it.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't really. So, and that was the only thing that's I ever got from it. But it kind of helped me because Apoel released me. So it was like they're saying, "Look, we don't want you,"
Aye.
and also because I'm not Cypriot as well, it's not as
bad.
big of a thing.
Do you think it
yeah.
would have been worse if you're like from like you grew up there and stuff?
I think
and,
so,
aye.
yeah. And also in the last few years before that, there was a lot of players went from Omonia, who then Omonia had money problems, and players left and went to Apoel.
Right.
So there wasn't a lot of players going the other way, and they weren't really that bothered.
It was that kind of weird timing.
And the Apoel fans liked me as well, so I kind of when we went back and played them, like got the booing and whistling and stuff, but nothing too bad. Like
That would actually, I think I would actually enjoy that, the booing and that. I'd be like, right, here we go, time.
booing and the whistling and stuff. That's fine. Like it's
the cups getting
that's
fucking
okay.
is it?
Those beach concerts you've got to watch out
Is
for.
it, he's signing for Dundee United next year then? Booing and whistling. Sound.
But
I'm
see-
kidding on obviously.
See on Omonia, I don't know if you've seen the news yesterday, mate. The king of snus and boots, as some people call him. Neil Lennon has just become their manager. How do you think, apart from obviously the obvious hurdles he's going to face, weather, UV rays, how do you think he's going to do there? It's an interesting move.
Being an Irishman yourself,
Aye.
what sunscreen factor will he use?
I think he can do good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard league to go and just be successful straight
Aye,
away
right
because
away.
it's quite competitive. It's when I went there, so it's different player and manager, but when I went there as a player, originally I underestimated it, thinking like all these teams are shit. Like
Aye.
it's a Mickey Mouse league,
Aye.
and then if you're not at it, you're not going to win the games.
So it's a much better standard than you.
It is definitely better than what I thought. But yeah, no, he could do very well there if he has like the team playing good.
Aye. Because he is quite a fucking intimidating presence, you know what I mean? But I don't know how they'll react to that, I don't know.
I don't know if like maybe you could let us know. Like I feel what us is like see Celtic and
I
Rangers
done
fans.
an interview earlier for Omonia officials
What did you?
like thing. They were asking me about him. Yeah,
Aye. What did you say?
ringing endorsement.
It's going to come back to bite you, mate.
Honestly.
Remember we're Celtic fans, mate.
Imagine you're on the Omonia official, like, don't know, man. You just don't know.
What is it they smoke again? It's no like vape things, they smoke a mad thing like Myko's or something. We'll be doing that instead of the snus.
And they swap it.
Mad vapeless fucking vape.
Imagine you see him, you fucking get over it.
What is it? Is it the Mikey George thing? He's just fuck off.
I just want to fuck off, just
Fuck off.
I came off as a sub. He came off as a sub or something. I think he was like,
Hey, no, he was injured.
I'm injured. Ah, you fuck off. But,
Fuming about it. But I was wondering, like, because you've obviously played places like near enough all around Europe and even the world, and I feel like Celtic and Rangers fans pure prejudge places. Like as I was saying, I'm going, we could be a fucking moulder in
Aye,
that.
but
But like,
Everywhere does it.
aye,
Everywhere does
right,
it.
okay, aye, because like that Bodo Glimt that played Celtic were just like
They
a
were
better team.
unbelievable. Like guys in my work, like Rangers fans were coming in, pure fucking get, and I was like, no, watch them playing. They are unbelievable.
They were so good.
Aye, they reminded me. I remember I went and seen, was it Mönchengladbach play Celtic
Aye,
at
the
Parkhead,
2-0 game.
and it was like now that way like the atmosphere and all the fans are going to cheer, and it was like they just got on the ball and they were just pinging it, and it was just like
Even
fuck.
that, I know, like, I hate admitting it, but the Mönchengladbach fans pure outsung on the Celtic fans. I know, mate.
I think we do have this thing like we are the fucking team and we are the best, and then like even like because see like when say Aberdeen or something will get a separate team. And you're like, oh, Aberdeen,
I like
good
Nicky.
side. Then they'll just fuck them like 2-0
Yeah,
at Pittodrie, 4-0 there. It's like people underestimate the standards of all these temes. Do you think the separate league how would you compare it in terms of level to the Scottish? Do you think is it hard to judge?
It's hard to judge. Yeah, there's more teams in the Cyprus League that can win the league. So there's probably 5 teams, 6 teams
Fuck's sake.
at the start of every year who will be aiming to win the league. And they've I think I'd probably say there's a better quality player there.
Like
Technically, yeah.
Aye.
There'll be loads of Portuguese, Spanish, Brazilians, Cypriot, some good Cypriot players.
I sometimes feel like it's kind of
Irish.
very technical,
Irish.
very technical. I feel like sometimes like Celtic and Rangers, like what you were saying about when it was Ronnie Dyer and there was no Rangers in the league, it was just like pure flat track bullies and it pure fucked us in Europe. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just like
because the standard you're playing you're just kind of not turning up and winning, but as long as you play kind of well, you're going to win. But then these teams you're coming up against, even like
they're fighting every week.
Because even now, right, I don't know how good Apoel are now, but like if Celtic drew them, I'd be like, oh, we've got to beat them. Do you know what I mean? But it's you just you don't know. Do you know how are they doing? What's the kind of standard now there? Do you know? Do you keep up with it? You keep up with the
yeah, no, because I've a few friends that are playing there.
Suppose, aye, delivering the snooze.
So Apoel last season had a bad year,
Right.
and they're doing all right this season. Omonia won the league last season. Are doing bad this season.
Quite an exciting league, man.
But see,
tuning in.
I know Ammonia, mate. Correct me if I'm wrong. 54 appearances, 23 goals.
Yeah.
Do you think that's when you were playing your best stuff? Do you think?
Yeah. You.
Or is it?
Stat
padding.
Like for goals, it was definitely my best. Like individually, it was the best club I've been to. And then when I left there, probably for like 6-7 months in Poland, I kind of continued that form. But yeah, I always say, what I'd like won as a team, Apoel was better. Yeah. But then individually, I'd done much better at Omonia.
Did you win anything with Omonia?
No. We got to a cup final that we lost.
Heartbreaking.
That was carnage.
Really?
Carnage. It was. We played Apollon, Limassol. They went up 1-0. We scored 1-1, and then they scored. They went 2-1 up. I'm going to say like 70 minutes, 75 minutes or something. And it was the final was played. So normally the cup final there is played in the National Stadium, but Omonia and Apoel play in the National Stadium. So Apollon were like not having that. They've got home advantage.
What, do they share the National Stadium?
Like the San Siro?
Yeah. And Omonia were like, well, we're not playing it. The other big stadium after that is a Narcissus, but it's too hard for security because it's the little streets and all that around it. The police don't want it there. So the only other option was Limassol Stadium. So Omonia are like, well,
that defeats the whole point.
That's your home advantage. So they ended up doing a draw.
Right.
And it was played at their stadium. So so it's 50-50 fans, but it's still their home stadium.
Yeah.
So for the last, say there's like 5 minutes injury time from like 85th minute. So we're kind of pushing to get an equaliser. All their fans have come down to the side of the pitch. I don't know how the game was continuing. All their fans had come down from the stands all around the pitch to like, say the lines here. They're literally there where that sofa is. So you're playing and you're thinking, fuck, if we score here, we're fucked. It's like
glass.
And
just dodge it again.
yeah, crazy. So anyway, final whistle goes. They win. All their fans run onto the pitch, celebrate with their players. All the Omonia fans run from the stands down to go and fight their fans. So the pitch is just like a melee of the two fans, and then all the security and that are coming over, and also the fans are raging at us as well because we've lost. So the security and that are coming over and like ushering, like pushing us all down into the tunnel to go into the dressing room, and their players had to do it as well.
Because obviously they didn't die.
Yeah, so both of us have been rushed down. We go into our dressing room like everyone. It's just silent. We're like gutted. The other team are kind of celebrating, but they're having to celebrate down in the dressing room. They couldn't go up, so we had to wait like an hour down in the dressing room. And you can hear fighting from the on the pitch,
and you just need to wait till it clears.
And so you're just waiting to find waiting to find out what's going on. Well, not what's going on, but like till everything calms down.
Aye.
So then eventually, I think they had to go back up, and they had like their trophy presentation with no fans or anything. The police kicked everyone out.
Is that horrible? Like, because sometimes you hear like football players getting interviewed and talk about stuff, and they're just like, aye. But like, what does it actually feel like going up to get a runners-up medal? Is it horrible, or do you still feel kind of proud?
We didn't get one.
Did you not?
No, I don't think so.
But do you need to watch them getting like lifting trophy and stuff?
They're just getting you out of there as soon as possible.
We were down in the thing, and actually the manager then said he was leaving as well.
But just right after that,
yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I'm leaving.
I'm
leaving.
I'm out of here. But then, like, so how did your time? Obviously, you done really well there. Like, how did that come to an end?
So I was in my last 6 months of my contract, and Jagiellonia, Białystok in Poland,
good pronunciation.
They had a lot of practice.
Glad you said that.
Their manager phoned me saying they wanted to sign me, but they wanted to sign me then in January. Omonia rejected their bid, and then in Poland the transfer window goes on until the end of February. So the last 3 days in January, Omonia rejected the bid. Then the manager and stuff got sacked at Omonia. So a month later, at the end of February, everything was different at the club. So they put in another bid, and then they accepted it. So I went over there.
You enjoy it over there?
Yeah. So I've like went over there and kind of continued my form from Omonia, and went over there, hit the ground running, scoring goals, and then playing well. And at the end, the team was doing well also. So we lost the league on the last day of the season, where if we drew 2-2 at home to Lech Poznan, and Legia. If we'd won the game, we would have won the league.
And if they ever won the league?
No, that's the highest they've done.
Oh my god! Thanks.
And then the
sheriff.
same the next season.
Next season, effect, innit?
It just happens everywhere you go. Almost.
Almost.
Is that a good place?
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Is that a good place to live? Aye.
Poland, yeah, completely different to Cyprus. Like completely different.
In what way, kind of?
The size of the country first. So like traveling to games is probably, and where Białystok is like right over East Poland. So it's the furthest away to everywhere nearly.
Oh, really?
So it's like...
Is that like Ross? I was going to play like Ross County or something.
Yeah, yeah. So like every bus trip home is like 8 hours average. So some obviously longer.
I didn't even know it was that big.
But Poland, massive, innit?
Huge, yeah. And yeah, just the lifestyle is different. Like the culture, Cyprus, it's very relaxed, and like they'll go 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock will be lunch. Their lunch break, so they'll have an hour to go eat and then an hour to go to a coffee shop. So everything's relaxed. And
do you think that's to do with like the climate? Do you think it's a lot to do with that?
Yeah.
Because in Poland,
that
obviously,
island lifestyle, and they start earlier. It's not like they're taking an extra hour out of working to go and have for lunch, but it's they just do things differently. The weather kind of dictates it as well.
Aye.
And do you think in Poland did you feel the pace of the game went up a bit in Poland?
Yeah,
compared to Cyprus.
Yeah. So like in Cyprus, I considered myself quite fit. Like at the end of games, I'd be confident of like running by people. Whereas in Poland, I went in like 70, 75 minutes, I was cramping up, and I was like, "The fuck, this is happening." But yeah, no, Poland was just like very different to Cyprus. More obviously colder, like weather and stuff, but also just the way the place is. Like people kind of stick to themselves.
Is that a bit? Aye, because I suppose did they have that sort of? Don't want to say like Russian, but like see that mindset of like no is very like welcoming and overly friendly and stuff. Is it kind of just like?
It's a little bit. It gives off that impression, but then once you get to know them, they're really friendly. Like they're brilliant.
Polish person I've ever met. It's just pure friendly and like just loves a booze and all that. And just like pure.
Aye.
But I don't know if that's just.
I found, see what you're talking about, like, once you got to know them, you realised it wasn't that they weren't friendly. I felt like that in Vietnam as well. Like I was saying, when I moved there, it was like, no one like holds doors for you and says, "Oh, thank you," and that. But I was like, they're so rude. But then you realise it's
not
not
their
rude.
culture. Yeah.
It's just like they've got a different set of rules than us almost for like social situations and stuff.
The other thing is their English, like if they literally translate words or sentences, it doesn't sound as polite as we'd say.
Like
so like
quite
if they're asking for that bottle, they'll say, "Give me this bottle," or like. Give it,
It's like a mad mechanical language. That's like the same as German. Like I was saying to you, the German word for diarrhea is fall through.
Fall through?
Aye, very like mechanical.
Just like explaining the process.
This is what happens.
I suppose it is a bit like that. Like very like forward and like no demanding, but like no. Aye.
Just like like that. That's what it does. I mean, that's what I want. I want
like
that
in Cyprus, if I said,
give me that bottle, by the way.
In Cyprus, if I said to someone, "Oh, the internet's not working, can you come and fix it?" They'd be like, "Yeah, come tomorrow. Relax, no problem." And it'd be like a week before they come.
You've not played COD in that
day. Whereas in Poland, you say to them, and it's done.
They're at the door.
Hang up the phone and it's done.
Aye, they're on the phone outside your door. Aye, different cultures, man. And do you think you liked? Think out of all the places you played abroad. Obviously, you were in Israel for like a short bit, New Zealand and that. But do you think like Cyprus was the place for you? Did you think you were happiest in Cyprus?
Yeah, because I had the life there can be really nice, and because football went well, I was able to enjoy the lifestyle of it. I could go there, relax, be myself, and just kind of didn't have to worry about. There were times like when there was Omonia the first time when we had a bad season or going through a bad patch. There was guys during the summer who stayed in Cyprus because it was maybe a short break and it wasn't worth them going home or whatever. And then guys, like fans coming to them and saying like, yeah, I saw you during the summer, like drinking champagne or something, like out with their family or something. So like it can be like that. If you can win your games and go to the beach or whatever, but then the next time you lose a game, it'll be like, oh, you were at the beach.
But I think
but we won that week.
Yeah. I think that'd be the same here and all, wouldn't it? Like, see if you were like imagine like you're a Rangers fan and you beat a Celtic or whatever, you'd be like, and you seen Tavernier you're out at a boozer, you'd be like,
I think what happened with Rangers, that the boy Diallo that came on loan, like fucking. Like drew with Ross County and he posted like a highlights compilation of him doing like a step over and like going out for a throw in and that, and the Rangers fans were like, fucking take this down, mate, we just drew with them, we dropped points, mate. But they come up here, it's like maybe a bit like you going over to Cyprus and maybe got to the beach, like they don't understand the culture here, or like you need to be in your house depressed if you lose a game here.
Mate, did Denny's watch the Man City game? It was 4-1 or whatever City won. Somebody posted like a Pogba highlights reel. The kids got to 4-1 and there was like Pogba in this game and it was literally just 5-yard passes left and right. And it was pure like fire emojis and all that. I think it's just different in Glasgow. Imagine that happened here.
I know 4-1 they get beat as well. But
mate, did you watch fucking the Tottenham game last night or no? No? Scudded Lampard's Everton 5-0, mate.
5-0 was it?
I saw the result, yeah.
Mate,
Everton are in trouble, by the way.
Mate, they're so bad, honestly. Everton, they were awful, man, under him. But I seen a tweet and it was like Lampard and he was talking about Moise Keane and he was like, Moise Keane was keen to lose today. Nah, but being serious, we're going to get relegated. Did you see it?
Laughing, but
we're probably going to get relegated.
Trouble, man. They're in trouble.
Did you know Dahan, the mad scout?
The agent.
The agent, sorry. Aye. Did you?
No, I didn't know him, but I knew some of the guys who he was their agent. Like, and they said, "Oh, he brought him." I was like, "Oh, fucking yeah, that's the guy who brings everyone."
Neil Lennon's signing policy in it.
I know.
Do.
Just on. So then you went to New Zealand. I wanted to talk about New Zealand because I was listening to you on another podcast and you were saying you really enjoyed your time in New Zealand, but it was kind of like you weren't getting much game time or you were injured or something. But you wish it was longer.
I went and literally one striker was having a really good season and they were played with 2 strikers, and then literally like the week before I moved and signed, he had scored his first goal, and then he just went on a run of playing really good, scoring. So every week, one of the 2 strikers was scoring. I just couldn't get into the team, and just never got going. There was only like, and that's what kills me on the stats. So it's like it might be 17 appearances.
17 in one goal.
And I'm going to say 15 or sub appearances.
So that does fuck you,
Kills
doesn't
me.
it?
See,
It looks like
coming on for 90th minute.
If you go
there should
for,
be a wee thing under it, but these
know.
were sub appearances.
if
Although
you go for minutes, I bet
The
it's
goal came from a sub appearance, so I can't.
so you're not getting that either.
Maybe just leave it.
I think people usually, if you talk about like striker stats, you go off like minutes per goal now, and it should be like within 200.
Wikipedia doesn't, mate.
Don't know if that's helping me.
But so you're
Go for hours.
When I start claiming assists, that's when you know a striker is struggling.
Secondary
When
assists.
they're talking about.
I played the ball to the guy who gave the assist. And they're like, well, chill
Although
out,
my
mate.
career started from an assist, so
True, the best assist in Celtic's history, they're calling it. It's framed at something Lennox
Yep,
Town.
I've seen
That touch through. But obviously your time came to an end in New Zealand, and then floated about a bit back to Poland for a little bit. What was it? How do you say it? Wisla Plock?
yeah, pretty good. Wisła Płock.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah,
aye.
Wisła Płock.
But are they a team that are maybe a bit lower down the league?
Yeah, so they're like probably mid table would be.
Like a Motherwell or something.
Yeah.
Love how we can't understand things unless they're put into
Mid-table.
Scottish football.
So do you mean?
The thing is, in Scotland
I
now,
know.
there's about 10 teams that can be
Mid-table,
like one win
down.
to go up or down.
I feel like 5 to 12, it's like fucking 6 points or something, innit? Like, it's
Yeah.
mad. Aye.
But see, after that, obviously, then you've ended up back in Scotland. So what was the kind of, was that anything to do with COVID? Do you wanted to just get back somewhere?
Nah,
or
just wanted to try and get back into the UK and see fucking what all the fuss was about.
Did you know it was at James McPake? Or?
Yeah.
Aye.
So I'd been off, or like the season had finished for maybe a month or something, 3 weeks, a month, and I was like, right, I need to do some sort of training. I can go and train on my own in the gym and stuff, but it's not the same as going and doing actual training like in a team. And Scottish teams were already back training, so I was like, look, if I can go in somewhere just to train, keep fit, and then if something comes up, I'm ready to just, I'm fit, I can go in straight away, hit the ground running. And then just that didn't happen, and Dundee offered me a contract, so I was happy to sign there.
And then, quite a common theme in your career, I'm finding, the manager leaves, then Mark McGee comes in.
Spark.
Any
Big Sparky.
any selfies with Mark McGee yet? No.
No.
Never. But are you enjoying being back here? Is that a kind of, do you feel like you've kind of came home in a way?
Yeah, no, it's nice to be like just back in like living in, to me, normality.
Yeah.
Like, just day to day going into the shop and everyone speaks English. And
You can nod and do that, and
I
it's...
could, yeah.
Aye, you're not walking about like that.
Like, what's that with Cillian Sheridan's changed since he got back? Just walking about
I
that.
can speak properly like I would normally just speak. Even
Yeah.
earlier when I was doing that interview with Omonia, afterwards I was like, fucking, I went into that weird foreign English.
We taste it.
It's hard. It's hard
Is
to
it-
do.
It's hard to do unless you're actually
You cut out abbreviated words,
Right.
so it's more like I don't even know how to start.
Who is it?
Just say I'm really enjoying my time at Dundee.
No, I would have said no. I think he can be very good. You know.
Yeah.
I like it. What was the thing? Fucking Davy Moyes, did he not go like, oh no, dos, three or something?
no. The best one is Joey Barton's French accent.
Oh,
that
aye,
was
French,
that
aye.
was go-to, man.
It's hard not to do.
I know.
It's hard not to do.
Even when I went to Vietnam, I watched videos of myself. Like I was like walking about, like, hey guys, this is fucking the sun, and this is this, and I'm like, oh my god, my voice. You start neutralizing your accent, so, but it's just like you don't do it in public. It's just so people fucking know what you're talking about.
maybe
It's like when he said "duff a baller," you were like, "What the fuck's this guy talking about?"
It's a place in
Duff a ball?
Vietnam.
it's pretty obvious to you and people in Scotland that I'm Irish when I'm talking, but when I'm abroad, no one ever knows I'm Irish.
Aye.
And even a little bit when I've come back at the start, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you don't sound really Irish." I think because I've
Are you sure you're Irish?
Because I've been speaking like an idiot for 6-7 years.
I think he can do okay.
Yeah.
I think it's quite a similar accent. I was watching a thing and Theo Vaughan said Scottish people are just Scottish accents are just Irish accents but a lot drunker. That's the way he described them.
But I've heard a lot of drunk Irish people as well, I must say.
Aye.
But
that's racist.
Is it?
No, come on.
Racist. But we've not got long left, so I wanted to ask. I mean, I think I know the answer. You kind of aren't sure, but when you hang up the ripped boots, what's in the cards for the sheriff? Back to the
idea.
No idea at all.
Idea.
I had an idea.
Might give that Aussie Rules Club a call. Still interested, lads?
I had an idea, right, for you. Maybe. Do you know Jackson Irvine?
Yeah.
Do you know him?
No. I know of him.
I could see you two maybe doing a podcast together or something, maybe discussing, because you are quite, I feel
kind of out there football players a wee bit.
Aye, because I feel like you've got a kind of similar vibe. Maybe you've cut your hair though, hadn't you?
Yeah.
Was that because you lost your bauble in that game?
I was planning on cutting my hair, and now it looks like I've cut my hair because of that.
Because I see before you come on, obviously I fucking don't know you, grew up Celtic fan and that, but I was like, wonder what comes up when you Google his name. First thing,
the first one.
Aye, the first, the Irish Mirror. What happened in that game? The bauble fell out, but it was gone and
just fell out, and I couldn't.
Is it? See, when your hair's that long, is it like stop the game? I need to find it
because my hair's really straight as well, so it's just gonna fall in front of my face, and I literally can't play. So I'd rather wait, get a bobble, and I can contribute rather than just running around not being able to see anything. Yeah, and it's the first time it's happened to me, and it happens in a game when we're losing 4-0 or 5-0 at the time.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
If we were winning, it's a funny story afterwards. Everyone's like, "Oh, that was funny. He lost his hair bubble." Now it'll be like, "Fucking."
You need to do the thing. My bird does that, like bobbles on the wrist and that. Do you know what I mean?
Backup bobbles.
You can't wear them in a game.
Oh, can you know?
Nah. So I always have them in my wash bag. I have spares. I come prepared for this one day, and I left it in the dressing room. And one of the keepers, Ian Lawler, had one on his wrist. So that's the one I got.
Did he get long hair, or was it just?
No, I think it was his girlfriend's. I
thought you made them like fucking just put that in your coffee.
I was going to say afterwards, like, look, if anyone asks, just say I gave you that.
I've got your back, mate.
I was prepared.
So you don't know. Maybe punditry. Maybe just tweeting all day. Could be. Mate, I love. Do you know? Like, obviously, I know boys that are footballers, and maybe because they're young and that they're kind of a bit apprehensive about coming on. But you coming on here, like, thanks so much for coming on, mate. Seriously. I feel like not to slag footballers, but I feel like no many footballers have the Twitter that you have. Like, as in, you just tweet like a fucking regular human being, whereas like other footballers are like +3. And it's like
fire emojis and that.
See, every time I go onto Instagram and I'll see if most of the footballers I follow are fellas I played with or I know or I'm friends with. See, when I go onto a footballer and I just see pictures from the game.
It's so boring. Like, you must have a life other than that.
I don't post.
I've just slaughtered a lot of guys, but
I know that's true. Like, you wouldn't get us, but I suppose it's
on the site like that.
on site today.
Great concrete pour today. Thanks to all the lads.
You should start doing that. That'd be great.
I might actually do that. That's quite good.
But Cillian, I think we're running short of time. But thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Really enjoyed that, man.
Enjoyed it.
Really enjoyed it, mate.
Thanks.
Cheers.
So, trips.
Early clap.
Bit early there,
Sorry,
but a
mate.
clap, aye.
Sorry.
As always, like, subscribe, feed our egos, send us compliments, money through PayPal.
Comment. You forgot the comment.
Comment as
Aye.
well.
Comment.
Comment the compliments.
Comment Bobo if you made it this far.
I know. Comment if you're still who's watching in 2021. Now you go on an old song and it's like, he's still listening to this in 2021. You're like, I am. You feel like a part of something for a minute when you see that.
There's always like 10,000 likes not on there, fuckers,
aye.
man. We're all just the same. We've all got the same dough.
No, we don't.
No,
we
don't.
definitely
Give
don't.
me some dough.
But thanks, guys. Cheers.